Oh, hi there, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Cardwell's Cauldrons here at Geektopia Island. I'm Cardwell.
And I'm Kevin.
And today, we are actually going to go over our thoughts and... I was going to say thoughts and prayers, but we're going to get past that. Our thoughts and discussion of the game that we've been going past for the past few weeks called Legion's Realms at War. And we thought, since we've already done a deck tech on every single Legion out there, we'd, I don't know, talk about it.
Just talk about it and see what our thoughts on it, our views on it, and what we think is going to happen with the game, / where it could go and what kind of stuff like that. Like, you're going to get our good things and the bad things that we think about the game. For the most part, it's a lot of good things, but there is, like everything, there's issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything has them. But overall, the game is super fun. We're gonna delve into that.
Yep. And of course, the first has to be thank you to Future Lore Studios to actually acknowledging our existence and the fact that they see our potential in brewing and are actually care about our ideas of how decks are and how the legions work and how all the rules work all together. So
thank you guys very much for for giving us
Setting
the
us up,
opportunity to showcase your game. It's super cool. We're really appreciative of the opportunity, and we're grateful for it.
Exactly, and we're gonna be as honest as we possibly can to do this because we're brewers, and this is what we're gonna believe, and our words are gonna be like, yeah, we don't really like this too much, and hopefully, it's not a negative. We're just trying to be critical, and hopefully, I want to see this game flourish. To be honest. For sure. And the first thing I guess we're going to really talk about, of course, is the legions themselves. As you can tell, I do believe there's 8, if I counted correctly.
Yeah, they're all there.
And so far, that's a good start, I think, of a first TCG that they did make, a Canadian-based company. I think this is a big setup, but I don't know, Kevin, do you think there's enough differences between the legions?
Yeah, I think there's enough differences between them. The only ones that are similar, in my opinion, are the dwarfs and the humans. But they still have their own differences because the dwarves play a lot more dudes than they do the humans, and they get to just do a lot of more chain reaction stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas humans are hey, we're gonna build them up and get bigger.
Yeah.
Orcs and titans are kind of similar. They're just big dudes that hit hard, but orcs more or less go wide, whereas the titans just get big.
Yeah, just one big dude and go through. And of course, I guess the only comparison I can also make is, well, I don't know. That is probably the closest comparison because all the rest, so the mystic beasts, angels, demons, and the undead are completely separated and different on their own.
Yeah, they do their own kind of thing. They do a lot of stuff with enchantments and stuff, but it is what it is. All the factions do that, but they do it more so.
Yeah.
But I think they're really well done and well made for what they do. They're all very separate, very different entities in their player identity, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah. And I feel like to be able to balance more out, because right now, I think it's kind of a more rock, paper, scissors. Because I don't know if it's either my deck building skills were getting better as more I understood the game, but every time Kevin would play the new deck and just whoop my ass, just completely. And I don't know if that's because of rock, paper, scissors or that I'm just getting better at knowing the game.
Yeah. And
because sometimes, you feel like everyone's talking to the big bad boys of the Prometheans or the Titans, but then I don't know, angels can swoop down and destroy everything, or Phoenix has destroyed my undead deck, but the next game we played, it was not even comparison.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know the super meta besides Titans being there, but I have a feeling that most of these legions have potential to do the best they can. Because right now, of course, there's a limited amount of cards, but each faction, each legion has 2 different sides to them. But one side is very, very smooth, of the card selection that we have.
In my honest opinion, I think, for me personally, the strongest decks that I know of that I think are the better ones is Angels, the Phoenix one. I didn't give it as much credit as I thought. And then probably I actually really think the human one's really, really good too. Because it does a lot of shenanigans over time. But I think those are the better 3, not necessarily the best ones, because everyone can win in their own regard.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I do like about this game is it doesn't matter where you're at in the game, you can win. You just got to buckle down and get there.
Yeah. And for me, I also think just seeing the angels, we were talking about it, it's the most boring deck, quote unquote, but it's going to win kind of thing. It's the most stout there. Like I said, like he said, the Phoenix deck, I think that's a S tier rank because it has everything you ever need
Yeah.
to like protect yourself and kill things. I secretly like the demons because I think that can just blow people out of the water without them paying attention. But you got to know your deck, and that's the thing. At the moment, we're trying to give enough time to know the decks, but not enough to know to master them. And I feel like it's easy to learn, hard to master type of game.
Yeah. The way this game plays is really nice because there's no resource management, so it's super nice in that regard. Like for those that don't know what that is, there's no lands to pay for things, or you don't have to pay for cards. You literally can play any card in your hand at any time, as long as it can legally be played. That's all that means.
Yeah.
So, but like, and the only resource I guess is the spot management. You have 5 cards you can play technically, but
Per section. So there's your warriors and your unifieds and your fortifieds, and that's it. But you have 5 slots for each one.
But I really like the fact that they work in that way. It took us a minute to figure that out, and if you're watching, thank you for watching that.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
We were bad. We're still getting used to it all, but it is what it is. But the more you play it, the more you understand that like the fortifieds can only be used on your opponent's turn, regardless of what they do. They're cool, but they can only be done then. And the unifieds are good on your turn, and then the creatures you can play once a turn.
Once a turn.
It's a lot nicer than you think. Like
Yeah.
Yes, only one dude a turn kind of hinders you a little bit, but that's also its way to make sure the game is balanced. And I do appreciate how much balancing they've put into this game.
Yeah.
It may not seem like it because every card does a lot of busted shit,
Yeah.
but it really does balance out pretty well. And some people's turns are just a lot better than the other. That's just comes with drawing cards.
Exactly. And that brings us to like the flow of the game. Like you said, everything is like almost feels busted, and I actually feel like it is in war, where you're just going back and forth, like doing the best, heaviest things to do, and then the other team gets to counter back, and the other army gets to fight back and like destroy the battlefield with it. And most of the games is like that. You're like, okay, it's my turn. Here's 10 minutes of me wrecking you in. And then the opponent gets to go and they get to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just like it takes a lot. It's a lot harder for it to be one-sided in this game.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yes, it can happen. Yes, it has happened. You've seen it in a couple of videos on brawls. But for it to just be one-sided, something went terribly wrong, or your stuff just went really, really right.
Yeah.
One of the two, because the way the game is represented and plays, it literally is like he said, like a war. Like both factions get their turn to do something and then change the flow of that to their side, whereas the other team gets to come back and change it back. And it's super nice in that regard. It is kind of swinging, I guess people could say, but it's not over swinging on one side.
Yeah. And the fact when you get to swing back on your turn, you feel like you're doing something and winning. And I don't know how long it took them to realize how, like the start of the turn, you have 3 realm counters, and once you pierce the veil, then all your stuff gets unlocked. Your realm, your synergy, basically your magic and your warlord gets to come out and play. And the fact that on that turn 3 is very, very pivotal, and what your warlord can do to swing the tides of battle. So that was pretty good. With that, we will get into the future end of the game and what it might need. Right now, of course, in my head, first thought is secondhand market. I know it's not much right now because it is just a Canadian company game, and I know they're trying to get into America stores and do as best possible that they can to do that and start selling, which I hope so. Praise to you. But then in the long run, let's say in a whole year or so, all these rares, everything, because they're not going to do rotation. So there needs to be a market where you're going to be able to get the old cards for sure to play, to spruce up your deck, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely needs to be a secondhand market. My first thing is a rule book. I know that y'all are a new company and you're getting things figured out, and I appreciate it. But like a rule book that explains what the hell things are is really, really nice. Like it needs to just be like a full, like, here's what this shit does.
Yeah.
Like I guess a CR, like a full rundown of everything. Because yes, we played card games, but I know this is y'all's first attempt at a game, and I appreciate it. But like some of the wording on cards is bad. Like I know y'all are working on it. I've already talked to y'all about it, and I've seen it in the Discord, and people are talking about it. But if the wording gets better and the rules get like shown, the game's gonna be amazing. Yeah. It really, really is. It's already easy and fun to play and enjoyable. It just needs a better understanding of it.
It needs precision, like Like, of course, we have to bring up the other ones, like Magic's rules of like 13.1 A,
Yeah.
B, 2, you know? Like, you have to get very tax evasion sort of rules here. Because, like, even the holy counters, like, you have the base stat of what it says, but then there's an actual subsection B, which we don't know about, or, like, it's hard to get to and read.
Yeah.
But, yeah, once you get down the rules and have, like, a Warhammer thick book full of it so we can all learn and get used to it, then amazing.
I mean, I don't think it needs to be that bad, but,
But-
just have a full rule book.
That's the goal in mind.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the future of that.
But don't let that hit. Don't let like our talk about that.
Negativity,
Yeah,
yeah.
negativity on that be a thing, because this game is actually really well done and well made and well thought out. Like, you can tell that the people at Future Lore actually care about this game and want it to do really well, and it's really appreciative that they have put a lot of thought into it. And you can actually tell a lot in the cards what they do. And like how you can tell that the dude that made the game has played card games before and knows what card games are supposed to be like, because you can see it in the cards. And if you hear us when we play, we're like, hey, this is like a brainstorm, or like this is like something else. Most of the time it's going to be related to Magic, because we both started on Magic, so it's easier for us. But overall, the game is super fun.
Yeah, the fact that, think of just old-timey Blizzard North before everything, the merger and all that happened. Just like what they do is they grab the best of everything around them and make it their own. And I feel like that's what Legions is doing. It's like they're grabbing the best. They know the complications of resource management. Who wants to be land screwed or flooded or anything, right?
Yeah.
Or not get the right stone, whenever you call it, aka me.
Yeah.
But for you to just be like, I get to make this deck, I get to make my army as well as I possibly can, and then whatever I draw or the flow of it is my doing, not the bad luck of other things you can't control, you know.
But with that, for those that are just like getting into this game, this is only the very first set.
Yeah.
So that just know that. And the next set is coming out in March. It's called Bountiful Harvest, and it's a really cool looking set so far. I've seen a couple of the spoilers in the Discord. I do believe it's just all neutral dudes. So like there's no Legion specific people. I think it's just all basic like normals that you can just add into your deck to make it better.
Yeah, non-realm bound.
Yeah,
for
which a
sure.
lot of them are going to do that, and then they work with certain other decks. Like there's some that you can blatantly tell are going to be way better in the human deck because their equipment's for that than they would be in like the Phoenix deck, but they're still good in both.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
And right now with that, that's kind of sorely what this needs as well, because almost there's so many keywords you can put on cards, right? Definitely at the first set. So almost every deck has that basic wisdom or perish or whatever. So these realm bounty cards will be able to, fix that.
Yeah.
To flesh out your deck more personally.
Yeah.
And one thing I do love, of course, is the art. Please do not dial down the brutality of it. I really enjoy it, I think it's amazing.
It's kind of nice seeing something that has no qualms with that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this with the whole censorship thing. Like, I appreciate
heavy,
it.
Heavy metal. We all love
they
them.
have a lot of really cool art, and it's wild when you see an orc holding a head, but whatever it is, it's different.
Or just undead ladies with spiders coming out of their mouth. They're drinking the blood of a corpse. It's all good. It's all awesome. Keep it there. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
But yeah, like Cardwell stated earlier, we are trying to get this game in America right now, or they are, and there's a couple stores that I know of that are doing it right now. I don't know exactly the names of all of them. I know that GameQuest and Amarillo is one of them. There's still the ones that are all in Canada right now, because that is where the game mostly is at. One of those major stores is Nerds Cafe. You can buy any kind of single you need from them or any of the product from them. They're not the only store that sells this game in there. I know that for sure, because I've seen it before on some of the other ones. But definitely go check it out. The game is super worth it, super worth looking into, and it's a good game to just get into and do on the side, or have this as your main game. Either one.
Yep. We're gonna slowly be teaching other people around this town, and I think the future of this game is amazing, and I think it has a lot of potential. As long as they just iron out the small little kinks and complaints that we had, I think it will do well, for sure. All right, any last words, Kevin?
I don't really think so. I think that's probably about it as far as I'm concerned on it. Like, I think the game is great. I think it's easy to get into, and the boxes are really, like, you get a good amount for it. The first set's a lot because you have to get into it. So that's why it's a lot bigger of a set than all the others.
It's not as hard of a learning curve, but if they get the rule set down and one neat little package of like what you can always do on your turn and what you can do on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Set. Also, in the future, I would love to see multiple colored factions.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
That'd be super awesome.
Or like a card that can be used, like the one thing I've liked about other cards that have, or that has like a single use, like your opponent sacrifices a card. If this is a Titan deck, it does this.
Yeah.
If this is a Phoenix deck, it does this. That'd be really cool too. Like it does that in addition to, like
Yeah, if your warlord is whoever.
Yeah. If you could figure something out like that, I don't know if y'all are in the works on something like that, but that would make this really cool just because it gives you more options and more
variety
and like utility. And it makes it a lot more interesting, and that makes those cards more wild. Like there's like it's a cool idea.
For sure. All right, I think that's my final thoughts on that as well. Mostly positive and awesome. Just letting you know it's amazing. So please, again, thank you, Future Lord Studios, for giving us this opportunity. And I hope to see more. I hope to see more cards come out and you flourish, and hopefully this all goes well for you.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to be showing you some more brawls and all that fun stuff on our channel, guys.
Yep. We're going to be mixing a lot of the other stuff and see what we can make. But with that, thank you for staying here at Geektopia Island, and I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.
Later. Make sure you hit that like button, guys, and subscribe to our channel. It would greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure you hit that bell to stay up to date on any of the notifications for our channel. And lastly, make sure you give us all the comments down below. We'll make sure we get them.
And just to remind you that we do have a Patreon. It only takes $1 to subscribe. But for those Mythic and above patrons, we like to give you a super thanks. And that would be Ryan and Magic Dragon Games. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We love you.